because you missed out a watering.
You're listening to BBC Radio Devon. You're in the potting shed Sunday morning with me, Pippa Quelch, and Sarah Chester's our gardening expert. 9:45 now. And this is something that we've been mentioning, Sarah, throughout the course of the morning. A mystery plant that was sent to us quite recently from Pat in Exmouth. And it is the most lush plant. She sent us a couple of lovely photos, didn't she?
It is, yes. It
Beautiful,
really is.
bright green.
That's right, bright green. Leaves, well, not really palmate, but as a very palmate. Lots of leaves sort of going out, splaying out like a gigantic... how would I explain it? Like a gigantic acer leaf, one of the Japanese acer leaves, like a really big one of those.
And she sent a picture, didn't she?
More
with
fingers.
Yes, sort of serrated edges. She sent a picture of her standing behind it. Well, it's almost as tall as her, isn't it?
It is, yes.
It's
about
5 feet tall.
Yes.
And growing beautifully. Pat's on the line now. Morning, Pat.
Good morning, Pippa and Sarah.
Hello.
So when did this sprout up?
I first saw it in the first week of July, and I saw it growing amongst the petunias, and I sort of had a slight suspicion as to what it might be, and I put a picture on Facebook and asked my friends if they thought it was what I thought it was, and nobody seemed to know. And then I've just watched it grow and grow and grow, and said to my husband, "What do you think it is?" And he said, "Oh, no, I don't think it's anything we need to worry about." And this is a man who did botany at university.
Right. We've got to say, this is growing underneath a birdseed feeder, isn't it?
It is. Initially, I thought it was because I'd thrown some meadow mix for difficult places.
Yes.
Because it started coming up at the same time as all those little seeds. But then we do have a birdseed feeder hanging over it, and I've got all sorts of other wonderful weeds growing as well.
Right. Okay.
It looks beautiful. I looked at it and didn't have a clue. I'd just like to point that out. Sarah looked at it and knew straight away, didn't you?
Yes, well, let me qualify that, please. Not because I'm an expert, but because I happen to obviously have come across the plant in the past.
In a professional capacity.
In a professional capacity, I hasten to add. Yes, it is a cannabis plant.
Yes.
And when you mention the bird seed, it's not surprising because cannabis seeds sometimes are in bird seed mixes. And we often get people who phone up who've got a mystery plant and it's come from their bird feeder, because there are so many different seeds in there, and very often, one of them might just germinate. It's been flicked off the tray or flicked off the bird table into the borders, and it's just found a good place to grow, and up it comes, and the owner doesn't know what it is. I must admit, this is a first for us. I don't think we've ever had anyone who's come on. Well, it may have happened in the past and no one's owned up to it, but it's a first for the potting shed.
Well, yes, we certainly haven't seen anything this lush, have we, or large?
No, but it is definitely a cannabis plant, and therefore I'm afraid you are growing an illegal plant.
Oh dear.
Yes, so we'll have to do something about that, I think. But cannabis, there are different types of cannabis, and you can only grow it if you have a license, and if you don't, obviously it's illegal. But there are different forms of cannabis as well. And you can get hemp oil from the seeds of some, and also thousands of years ago, hemp was actually used, or certain species of hemp were actually used. They took the fibres out of them, and they were used to make rope. They're very, very strong, and they would make ships' ropes. And you can buy clothing today sometimes that's been made from hemp fibres. So it's it's more interesting than, say, a cotton plant, a cotton material. But as I say, you can't grow it without a license.
Oh, well, I have to confess to having grown some in South Africa, but that came from the builders, and sadly that also died.
Oh, right.
Hopefully no one's listening who might...
I wouldn't say any more, Patricia.
What I will say is that we did get in touch with the police, not to get you into trouble, just for a little bit of advice of what happens when this kind of thing does grow in your garden. And though you are growing it illegally, Patricia, they do understand that you've grown it in good faith, so you're all right. They want to have a little look in your loft, though, they did say.
Well, thank goodness I don't have a loft.
What the advice
I
is...
I have one thing to say about the physalis and the Cape gooseberry.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes.
Right, the Cape does not refer to the Western Cape or Cape Town.
No.
It refers to the sepals that cover the fruit.
Ah,
Like
well,
a cape.
thank you for that. I didn't realise, because I know it has that sort of papery covering, doesn't it?
Yes.
Yes, I didn't realise that. Well, thank you. That's one of the things I've always loved about horticulture. You never ever stop learning. So thanks for that, Patricia.
Just to say, just very quickly, the police did tell us if you have got a cannabis plant growing in your garden, then you do need to destroy it.
Yes.
Or else hand it to a police officer. They did say that they can help out if you're uncertain at all.
Yeah.
But what we're going to do, Pat, is we're going to send Sarah up to take a look at the plant and give you a hand hacking it down later. Is that all right?
That'll be fine. Very welcome.
So after this programme, she'll pop up and see you.
Okay, looking forward to seeing you.
I'll
Lovely.
see you later, Patricia.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Patricia, for giving us a very interesting time in the office this last week. Bye-bye. Patricia there in Exmouth. And Sarah, you're going to pop up a little bit later.
I will be, yes, after the show.
Look forward to that. BBC Radio Devon, you're in the Potting Shed, Sunday morning, 9:50. Do get your questions into us.